What's up, everyone? This is your host, Ghost, coming to you live with another wonderful video. Sorry about being a little later than I was planning. I was getting everything set up, then my mic needed an update, so it was a fun day. Sorry about yesterday. My internet was down, and I had to reset my whole damn thing. I had to delete my Wi-Fi mesh stuff. It was a pain in the ass, honestly. So that's what happened. So that's why I had to cancel. I got down here, I was all ready to go, and I was about to go live, and then all of a sudden, hey, your internet's not working, and yeah, screw you, buddy. So it was really irritating. I was trying to do the show I was going to do Friday or Thursday before I had to cancel, and that didn't end up happening. So it's kind of old news at this point. So we're going to touch on some of the things, but not really get into all of it. That's what it is. Oh man, I'm tired as fuck. Oh, my knee hurts too. Fucking hell, old as hell. Anyways, so we just gotta, we got a few things we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about the senile and racist Biden. It's not really racist, but it's funny to label him that. But so we're gonna talk about that because he's he's senile because well, due to the special counsel report that was out that got released last week, he's apparently too old and too mentally incompetent to stand trial. So, and it's really gotten him pissed off, which is fucking hilarious in all honesty. So we'll talk about that for a second. Let's see. And then we'll talk about his really ridiculous ad that he ran, which I don't get it. It's basically him with a bunch of black kids or a black family and a father, two boys and their father. at a dinner table eating chicken, but he's eating a hamburger. It's it's like, what the fuck? I have no idea what he talks about, but we'll check it out anyways and see what what's what. And then we'll oh man, I fucking and then we'll talk about the Herb report, special counsel report, that kind of like labeled him as being too senile. But yeah, that's my plan. Sorry, I was just trying to get everything else. Whatever, no big deal. So yeah, and then we're gonna talk about, of course, the Black Super Bowl. And we're gonna talk about it. Before that, we're gonna talk about the SCOTUS versus Colorado. Again, I was gonna talk about this last week. It's kind of over with. It's not really relevant news anymore. So I'll touch it just briefly, and we'll watch a clip of CNN talking about them wanting Justice Thomas to recuse himself in Trump's Colorado case. So we'll check that out real quick, and like I said, we'll just touch on it, and then we'll do Black Super Bowl. And apparently, we can't just sit down and enjoy a game anymore. We got to have a fucking bunch of bullshit shoved down our throat. And then a trans shooter shot up Joel Osteen, his church. So we'll check that out. And then Trump is going to do a hilarious, and I mean hilarious, troll apparently this Thursday. And we'll check that out. Let's see. There's cool. All right, so let's get into it. We've kind of been slow right now, so let's get into it, shall we? Shall we? All right, let's see. You know what? The first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna watch his fucking ad. This is so fucking dumb and it's hilarious. Let's watch his ad. Let's go with the racistness. It's not really racist. I'm just being a leftist and labeling everything as racist. All right. There's the ad.
Oh man, you got chicken fingers. You got all this. I want the root of making sure I had the hamburger. So tell me about you guys. What you doing these days?
Why don't you share about your passion of sports?
I'm playing AAU basketball right now.
Are you really? Are you guard?
Yes, sir.
Now, what grade are you in?
7th grade.
7th grade.
Right now, I'm just doing basketball, playing guard on the JV team for my school.
How about in school? How y'all doing in school? You should tell the president about the school.
Favorite thing about it is the business academy I'm in. We get to travel, so we've been to NC State, Wake Tech, and
You're kidding me.
we went to this small dry cleaning business, and it's cool. It's a great experience.
I'm impressed. Is that a new program at the school?
Yes, sir, it is. It just started just a couple of years ago.
You know how much this guy loves you. You just feel it, can't you?
Yes, sir.
Your dad jumped in front of a bull for you. By the way, we dads are hard to raise. Once you're a teenager, we're hard to raise. So you gotta be patient with us, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
A little patient.
The fuck is this ad? He's just sitting there. What the fuck is this? I don't understand this fucking ad, honestly. He goes to a bunch of black people, does an ad, and he buys them chicken. Like, the fuck is this? What is the point of this ad? I don't understand. Whatever. I guess I'm not meant to understand, but I don't understand this at all. What the fuck? Oh man, that was a dumb ad. There's no point to it. It's like, Oh, what are you learning in school? Oh, that's interesting. And who's this dude? And why is he with this random family? Like, this ad makes no logical sense. It's really dumb. But that's to expect with Biden. Like I said, I don't get the ad. I don't get it. I'm thoroughly confused by this ad. I'm not sure what in the world this is supposed to do. Like, I just don't understand what the point of it is. But all right, whatever. I don't get it. All right. So that's all I got for the race system. I'm offended there was no purple drink in there, or at least the dad wasn't drinking malt liquor. Very, very rude of President Joe Biden from for not providing the malt liquor. All right, let's where's the grape drank. All right, let's move on. All right, so so this happened last week. The special counsel that was investigating Biden's what do you call it? Biden's classified documents, and people trying to compare the two with the Trump and Biden. Here's the kind of thing I think a lot of people are missing, because they're talking about, well, Biden did this, he cooperated, Trump didn't, blah blah blah. Yeah, here's the biggest difference between Biden's classified document case and President Trump's. Biden was vice president. He didn't have any right to take classified documents. As far as I know, the vice president isn't supposed, it can't declassify anything. So him removing classified documents is a whole bigger issue than Trump, who was president at the time and had all the authority to remove classified documents, because he is the one who decides what is classified and what isn't classified at the very he's the last stop on finalizing classified documents. He took a piece of paper, it's like, this isn't classified, I'm gonna declassify it, or he shares it with the world leader, this isn't, this is classified, but I'm declassifying it for you. That's the president. It's a purview under the president. So that's like a giant difference, but people keep comparing it. And I'll talk another comparison that they're talking about here in a second, but let's get into this real quick. So this is a snippet, and then we'll check out an NBC report and see what they're saying. But it says, Mr. Biden's memory also appears to have significant limitations, both at the time he spoke to Sowansker in 2017, as evidenced by their recorded conversation, and today, as evidenced by his recorded interview with our office. Mr. Biden's recorded conversation with Zawinser from 2017 are often painfully slow. With Mr. Biden struggling to remember events, straining at times to read and relay his own notebook entries. In his interview with our office, Mr. Biden's memory was worse. He did not remember when he was vice president, forgetting on the first day of the interview when his term ended. If it was 2013, when did I stop being vice president? And forgetting on the second day of the interview when his term began in 2009. Am I still vice president? He did not remember even within several years when his son Beau died. His memory appeared hazy when describing the Afghanistan debate that was once so important to him. Among other things, he mistakenly said he had a real difference of opinion with General Carl Eckenberry, when in fact Eckenberry was an ally whom Mr. Biden cited approvingly in his Thanksgiving memo to President Obama. So this is this is a snippet, obviously, of the report. Now, what I want to talk about is people are comparing what Biden's forgetting, with apparently Donald Trump's forgetting of various things. Like I keep seeing this. Well, Trump said while being interviewed by Murr on under oath that he did not recall 31 times or whatever. Yeah, it's called a fucking tactic. That's what you do if you don't know. Like, if you're trying to not get caught perjuring yourself because you don't remember the full whatever the question is. Like, if you don't remember the full amount, like say on Tuesday the 31st 20 18 or whatever, you were talking to this this person whatsoever, blah 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 blah, and you said, this, that, and the third, and you're like, all right, I remember, I remember the day, I remember talking to that person. I don't quite remember saying those things. Then you would say, well, I don't recall, because then you could, you could totally have not, and you just don't remember, and that's what I kept pointing out. I was like, this is a tactic, if you don't really remember 100%, you say, I don't recall. And it also, I kept asking, is like, what were the questions he was asked? Because it depends on the significance. Because they were like, oh, well, this is in the middle of his presidency, while all of Biden's stuff was years before. And I was like, well, it really depends on the significance. If they're asking him what he had, if they asked Trump what he had for lunch and the second, third, or or the 100th day, or let's see, trying to like think. Yeah, if you were, if they asked, if Murr asked Trump, what did he, have for lunch on the 50th day of his presidency, that's, and he says, I don't fucking remember. All right, no big deal. If he was asked, do you remember who you talked to in the middle of your term on December 2nd of 2019 or whatever? And he's like, well, no, I don't recall. That's kind of less significant than, I don't know, when your son died or when you were vice president. Now, if Biden had, was asked the same questions Trump was, and he had the same, I don't recall this, like, something's similar to Trump, and he's like, I don't recall, I don't remember, I'd give him a pass too. No big deal. Like, yeah, probably, these insignificant events were, you're not going to remember everything. But when it comes to, I don't know, when your son died and when you were vice president, it's kind of freaking important. It's kind of far more significant than, what day you had, what you had for lunch on a certain day. Like I kept asking, what was he asked? What were the questions that Trump was asked? Because I have no idea. I have no idea what the questions were. And and they're like, oh, because I'm stupid and I argue with people on Twitter. They'd be like, oh, so you're saying he lied under oath, and now that's his excuse, was he was lying under oath, so that's why he's blah 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 blah. I was like, it's a possibility. I have no idea. I don't know what he asked, and I don't know what was in his mind, but I was willing to say, yeah, that's a good possibility. But there's other reasons as well. Like I laid them out before. He just might not remember. It depends on how significant there was. Now, let's say a report came out and one of Trump's sons had died, years back, and he was asked about it, and he didn't remember within several years when his son died. I would probably have some concerns. Now, I have not lost a child, and I hope I never do. But I would think that the loss of a child would be burned into, the memory of every mentally fit person. And it just isn't. And the fact that Biden forgot when his son died, it's very insignificant. And then if Trump forgot when he was president and had to ask, when did I stop being vice president? And am I still vice president during this time? I'd have some concerns about Trump as well. Okay. It's a big, significant difference. But, everyone just kind of keeps trying to compare Biden with Trump, and it's not working. It's really not working because it's just not the same. I'm just looking through this. So, yeah. So, I'm sorry. I'm just stuff is just getting annoying to me. Like, you can't compare the two people with this memory stuff because it's more apparent with Trump. Yeah, or with Biden. Yeah, Trump, he may misspeak and forget, some things here and there, but with Biden, it's constant. It's constant. He's forgetting shit. And that's the big difference. Oh, I don't think there's anything in this article of any real interest. So I don't think we're going to go through it. There's something else with Trump or this Biden's crap, and I can't remember what. Oh, yeah. So he's the first president to be deemed mentally unfit to stand trial, literally, and it raises some concerns. And I'm wondering when people are gonna try and invoke the 25th. Because he's just been deemed too mentally unfit to stand trial. So if he's too mentally unfit to stand trial, why is he still mentally competent to what's the word I'm looking for? Why is he still mentally fit to be president? That's a big concern. If you're not mentally fit to stand trial, why are you able to still be president? It's interesting. Let's see. Okay, so there's cause to be able to try and invoke the 25th. Now, some of you may wonder, what is the 25th? 25th is basically a way to, if a president's deemed unfit, whether temporary or permanently, to execute his duties as president, then his powers will start going through the line of succession, meaning the vice president. Let's see, I believe it was Speaker of the House, then the Senate pro temp, and onward and onward. So they just basically starts the line of succession and starts going down that way, starting with the vice president, and then if they can't do it, then moving on and on and on. If you ever watched or read the books of Vince Flynn, one of his first books had this happen where the president was locked in his bunker. He was cut off from his cut off from everyone, and so his cabinet invoked the 25th and transferred the vice president, the powers of the presidency, office of the president, to the vice president. And it can be temporary, it can be permanent. But anyways, yeah. So this could be an easy call for for invoking the 25th in our lifetime. But I think it requires a lot more to do that. Let's see. So it requires to do this. It actually ends up requiring written like in section 3 either. Okay. So there's two ways to do the 5th. Section 3 is the president transmitting to the president pro temp and the Speaker of the House of Representatives his written declaration that he is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, and until he transmits to them a written declaration to the contrary, such powers and duties shall be discharged by the vice president as acting president. Now, another way, and this is how what I talked about the book, how that happened was whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments or of such other bodies as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the president pro temp of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the office as acting vice president. Thereafter, when the president transmits to the president pro temp of the Senate and the Speaker of the House his written declaration that no inability exists, he shall resume the powers and the duties of his office unless the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive department or of such other body as Congress may by law provide transmit within 4 days to the president pro temp and Speaker of the House the written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. So that's basically how that works. And, there's some due process involved, allowing Biden to fight it and everything like that. But if this isn't a clear case of, hey, this guy's mentally unfit, we should invoke the 25th. I don't know what it is. Because when you're too unfit to actually, you're too unfit to actually stand trial. How can you be president? All right, I will be right back. I have to go to the bathroom quick, people. So I will be right back. Do not. Oh, sorry about that. I had to go to the bathroom. All right, back to it. I think I said everything I want to say about Biden. So we're gonna watch one last clip, and then we'll move on from here. We may not get to everything I wanted to talk about today, which is fine. No big deal. All right, here we go. All right, so let's check out. This is just recently him having a fucking brain shutdown. All right, check it out.
Let me start by welcoming His Majesty, the King of Jordan. He's been a good friend. Abdul, welcome back to the White House, man. Welcome back. And by the way, Barack's looking at you in the corner over there. And along with Queen Rihanna, who is meeting with Jill now, and the Queen and the Crown Prince Hussein. Where is the Prince out there? I thought he was coming out. At any rate, Your Majesty, over to you.
How fucking embarrassing is this?
Mr. President.
Let me start by welcoming His Majesty.
He just stands there and like mumbles a bunch, and then like, how fucking embarrassing is this for us? We have a guy who's clearly not all there, clearly can't do shit. Clearly, it's so clear that he's mentally not there, and we keep parading this guy around and just keep getting embarrassed by this fucking loser. Oh my god, it's so embarrassing. If you're not embarrassed right now at our government and how incompetent they are, I'm wondering, like, do you even care? In all honesty, this is so goddamn embarrassing. It infuriates me that we have such a guy as president at the moment. Anyways, moving on. Let's. I'm done with talking about Biden, so let's move on. There we go. So, SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, has talked about, or has heard the case has heard Trump's appeal from his removal on the Colorado ballot, and people are apparently, CNN at least, are still bitching that Justice Thomas didn't remove himself. Why didn't Justice Thomas remove himself? Because there was no reason to. Now, the reason they want Justice Thomas to remove himself is because his wife apparently is a supporter of Trump, and she did like let's see, was it Stop the Steal or whatever? She was part of that movement, believing that the election was stolen from Trump, and wanting to stop it, et cetera, et cetera. And people believe that because of this, that Justice Thomas should recuse himself. My only question is, why? Why? What is her wanting? What is her with caring about the? Sorry. What is her with the? What is her supporting Trump and believing the vote was stolen have anything to do with Trump and his case of being removed from the ballot? Like, what is their connection of? Because guess what? Miss Thomas has not been charged with insurrection. And there's no way for her to benefit if Trump gets put back on the ballot, other than the candidate she wants getting elected or being put on the ballot. That's all that is really a benefit. But there's no financial gain. Trump didn't like, hey, you get your husband to vote for me. There's no evidence that he said, oh, if you get your husband to vote for me, then I'll grant, I'll give you, I don't know, I'll do something for you. There's none of that. So like you can't really demand someone recuse themselves just because their spouse does something you don't like. And that's what people don't really understand, really, is that she's her own person. She's allowed to have her own views and everything. And unless you have evidence that she is going to either financially benefit from Trump being put on the ballot, back on the ballot, or she is influencing her husband. You have to have evidence that she's influenced her husband to vote one way. And there is none of that. There's just a lot of speculation. And that's the problem with speculation. It's okay. It's heavy on heavy on the speculation, light on the facts. There's no facts that show that Supreme Court Justice Thomas should recuse himself. So let's see what CNN has to say about it.
But before you go, because we're running out of time, I do want to ask you about today's historic hearing in the U.S. Supreme Court, where the justices seemed rather skeptical of the argument being made on behalf of Colorado voters that Donald Trump should be kept off the ballot because of the insurrectionist ban in the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. What did you think of the oral arguments? And do you think...
Here's what I think about the oral arguments. They sucked. Trump's team did great. The Colorado guys, like, they weren't terrible. They were terrible. The justice, like, I would be shocked if this isn't a 9-0 vote in favor of Trump. Just based on the questions that they asked, all the justices asked, they seem to, be more. And, we can't always, determine how someone says without they're going to vote or anything. But, to me, at least, the questions they asked seem to be more, we are trying to help you by letting you bring this up. There was more that than with the Colorado team. They were more attacking their arguments. Like that, I can't really like cite like President Ketanji Brown Jackson. She asked a very good question. Oh, God, I can't remember it. To Trump's team. She asked a really good question, and it was an argument that helped his case. And I can't remember. You should really listen to it. Check out Rekieta Law. He did a 3-part show on that, listening to each of their arguments and all the entire thing. And yeah, she asked a very good question, and I can't remember, and I wish I did. I had it memorized. I had it set aside for when I did this, but I can't remember. Yeah, but anyways, the questions asked to him, even by the liberals, to Trump's attorneys, seem more of look, I want you to make this argument. Let me ask you this question so you can help make this argument. While when they talked to the Colorado team, they were more attacking their arguments and trying to basically show that their thinking was flawed without actually saying it. So I would be really shocked at if this was anything less than a 9-0 vote. I think regardless, how it lays out, Trump's getting back on the Colorado ballot. But I would be again shocked if it was anything less than a 9-0 vote. And I got to give a shout out to Ketanji Brown Jackson. Not that she gives 2 shits about me, but she, again, I have to, she asked some really good questions, and they're really thoughtful and thought provoking. They're really good questions, and I was surprised by that. And it might have been it was probably my own bias, considering that the only qualifications she needed to be nominated as a Supreme Court justice was to be black and female, as Biden basically said. But she asked some really good questions. So shout out to her, and shout out, to all the justices asking some good questions, and really just understanding and seeing this as the insanity as it is. And a lot of people are freaking out about the justices appearing to side with Trump and seem to, without it actually happening yet, basically, in everyone's opinion, confirming they're gonna let Trump back on the ballot. what you got to remember is the justices aren't defending Trump. They're defending the office of the presidency. And that's what they're thinking of. They're not thinking of, oh, let's get Trump or let's help Trump. They're thinking, all right, this is going to affect the office of the presidency from here on out. And let's look at what was, what the framework says. And let's look at the history and all that stuff, because our decision here could affect the office of the president for generations, forever, maybe. And that's what's really going on, is they're thinking of the office itself, not the person occupying or wanting to occupy. And I think people are forgetting that.
That the Colorado voters are headed for a defeat.
Well, there were a couple things that jumped out to me. First, that there was very little discussion of whether or not Donald Trump actually engaged in an insurrection, which the trial court determined pretty convincingly. And I know there were some questions about.
Hold on. This was a trial, not a criminal trial. This was a civil trial. The civil trial requires 51% of, favor instead of beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's kind of important, considering you're removing someone from, being able to be voted into an office. Like, this should be a criminal thing, not a civil complaint. And that's like, again, civil's 51% and criminal is beyond a reasonable doubt, like 90%. So it's a giant difference in standards.
Out that process, but they were focused on, I think, very legitimate democracy, rule of law issues as to whether one state can declare a federal candidate to be invalid and off the ballot, and how that would have an impact on other states, whether or not this is a self-executing clause in the Constitution, which it has been used as before. These are all very technical legal things. But Jake, the biggest thing for me that I am just shocked about is that Justice Clarence Thomas sat there for oral argument. He had recused himself in the John Eastman case because of his wife's involvement in the January 6th insurrection. But today...
Look, just because you keep calling it insurrection, it doesn't make it an insurrection. Let me be clear about this. This wasn't an insurrection, for sure. And I have a very simple question. Has anyone been charged and convicted of insurrection? No one has. A few people may have been charged and convicted of sedition, but sedition and insurrection aren't the same thing. Insurrection is completely different. So you can't call it an insurrection when no one's been charged with an insurrection at all. And I don't know about the Eastman case. Well, I would like to. I haven't checked that out, so I don't know the actual facts, but I'm willing to bet his wife had a lot more relation with Eastman than she does with Trump. She's like 30 points, difference from Trump. Like, Trump probably doesn't even know she campaigned for her until like this news, until they started calling for him to Justice Thomas to recuse himself because of it. I'm willing to bet that Trump had no idea she was campaigning for him.
In another case involving the same subject matter, he did not recuse himself. This is a crisis of ethics at the Supreme Court. Chief Justice Roberts has said that they can police themselves, but it is clear, based on Clarence Thomas's own actions, that he cannot and they cannot. And it is high time for Congress to enact significant ethical reforms at the Supreme Court.
Okay, so you do, enforce ethical reforms on the Supreme Court. How are you going to enforce that? Because Supreme Court in the Constitution polices themselves. They don't get policed by everyone else. It's called a separation of power, buddy. So how are you going to enforce anything you want to do to them at all? How are you going to do it? You can't, okay? Because the Supreme Court does not answer to the Congress or the presidency. They answer to themselves. There are checks and balances of power. There is a way, though, to really, to do something about Supreme Justice, and that's to impeach him. And it's the only thing that Congress can do is do an impeachment on a Supreme Court justice. That's all they can do. That's all that they can do. The same with presidency is all Congress can do against the president is impeachment. Really, they're trying to do everything else, but that's the only thing to do is impeachment. And again, I see no evidence of why that he should recuse himself from this at all. It makes no sense. There's no benefit. There's no financial. There's no social. There's no benefit his wife gets for having Trump back on the ballot, except being able to vote for the person she wants to vote for. That's the only benefit I can see his wife receiving, and that's a benefit lots of people get. So it's not a unique benefit. It's not something that you're going to have to show that that his wife is influencing him, or that she would receive a significant, she would profit from, or somehow gain from having Trump back on the ballot, other than what every other voter could gain. And that's it. All right, moving on. I'm done with this stuff. All right. So there's someone tweeted this out. The Super Bowl had everything MAGA hates: all black halftime performance, Bud Light sponsorship, end racism logos in the end zone, Black History Month commercials, commercials about diversity, commercials about the vaccine, Chiefs winning a Super Bowl, Travis Kelce winning a Super Bowl, Taylor Swift kissing Travis Kelce for winning a Super Bowl. I thought they stopped watching when Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Oh, and the big mad prepare for the NFL conspiracies. Okay. So this person tweeted this out. And I just want, here's what okay. So here's what I tweeted. I said probably more than just MAGA hated this at the Super Bowl. People just want to go and enjoy the game, whatever performance is slotted for the halftime. The average person doesn't want a bunch of political and woke bullshit shoved down their throat. Guess what? If you had a bunch of right-leaning political shit being shoved, well, I did not. I said shown. Embarrassing. At the Super Bowl, the same amount of people would hate that as well. People just want to enjoy a game and escape for a few hours. Let them, and keep the wokeness, the politics, and the bullshit out. That's what I tweeted. And that's true. Most people don't give two shits about any of this. They really don't care, but they're tired of having shit shoved down their throat. And they don't like Travis Kelce, or however the fuck you say his name, for the same reason they don't like Colin Kaepernick, is he took a knee during the anthem. He all pro-vaccine, so yeah, no one really likes him. But I think they dislike, the end racism logos, Black History Month commercials about diversity, commercials about the vaccine that doesn't work. Yeah, I'm sure they don't like that. All right, let's check out this Black National Anthem. Because I haven't heard it. Because I didn't watch the Super Bowl. The only thing I cared about the Super Bowl was the Deadpool 3 trailer. That's all I really cared about. And I didn't watch the Super Bowl, so I really could care less. But anyways, Chrissy Mayer is hilarious. She said, I thought the Black National Anthem was just sirens. Oh, that's funny. It's funny and true. All right, so let's listen to this, because I have no idea what this is. I have no idea what she's singing. So I'm guessing this was sung before and after, or some point before, during the Super Bowl beginning. And yeah, I don't really know what she fucking sang, honestly. The audio was crap. I don't know what she's saying. Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. And I saw someone write a tweet out about it, and he's like, the NFL is made up of predominantly black individuals, so why shouldn't they have their a song dedicated to them or some shit like that? And it's not called, even though people call it the Black National Anthem, it's not really a Black National Anthem. No one's had actually, said this is it, blah, 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 blah. And I just wanted to point out, and I think he deleted his tweet because I couldn't find it. I just want to point it out. It's like, okay, well, then, the America is, predominantly white people. So, I mean, yes, it's shrinking over time, but they're still predominantly white. So should we change the national anthem to the white national, to like some sort of white national anthem? Because, or white pride thing? Because, America's made up of predominantly white people. So, that everyone should be okay. Yeah, the NFL may be made up predominantly of black players, but it's an American sport for Americans. It's not supposed to be singling out just one group of individuals. Everyone enjoys it, and it's an American sport and America. So yes, the only anthem that should be sung there is the national anthem. If the Super Bowl keeps doing this, I won't be surprised if less and less people are starting to go. I think the sales were the tickets were higher than normal. Maybe. Yeah. So it looks like, yeah. The Super Bowl tickets on the secondary market are tracking 96% higher than historical averages for the game. So yeah, they're a lot higher, and that's probably because there's a lot fewer people going, so they have to increase the prices. It's not because there's more people going, it's more interesting. Oh, there's probably less people going, and so the ticket prices are higher. Interesting how this goes. All right, let's move on. Finally, we're done. Let's talk about some trans shooters. All right. Anti-Semitic writing were found in search of items belonging to the shooter, who opened fire Sunday afternoon on Joel Osteen's Lakewood Church in Houston, according to law enforcement. The woman, identified as 36-year-old Genesis Yvonne Moreno, was carrying an assault-style rifle with the word Palestine written on it, according to two senior law enforcement officials, briefed on the matter. The motive is still not clear. Really? I mean, motive may, at least part of the motive is clear. She wanted to get some news recognition and show how she doesn't like the Jews and wants the Palestine to be free. I would say a portion of that. But I guess the full motive may not be clear. Why she went after Joel Osteen Church in particular. Maybe secretly a Jew, who knows? A motive is still not. A motive is still not clear, but police said they believe Moreno acted alone. A dispute between Moreno and her ex-husband's family, some of whom are Jewish, may be related to the shooting. Do they go to this church? Houston Police Commander Chris Haskett said in a news briefing Monday. The shooter also made several statements during the course of the incident, but the officials declined to describe them. Law enforcement officials add that Moreno previously went out by multiple aliases, including both male and female names. Moreno also brought her 7-year-old son with her to church. Wow. The officials said during the incident, the shooter stated she had a bomb, but a search turned up no explosives, officials said. Preliminary tests done of chemicals found at the scene concluded that the materials did not pose any risk. Houston Fire Department Chief San Pena said at the Monday news briefing. The products on their own are benign, and they're common products that we would see in other applications. Law enforcement records show the shooter had at least 6 arrests since 2005, including unlawful carrying of a weapon, which he pled guilty to, evading arrest, assault on a public official. Pretty sure that's a felony, which was pled to a lesser charge. Oh, okay, never mind. Moreno had a documented mental health history and was placed under an emergency detention order by Houston police in 2016, Hessig said. Maria Scott, who lived 4 doors from Moreno in the city of Conroe, roughly 40 miles north of Houston, said she did not know her well, but people talked about her because she was wreaking havoc. She said a couple years ago, Moreno had knocked on her door at 7 a.m., insisting I go get my dogs out of her mother's yard, said Scott, 57. She was very stern, very angry for someone at 7 a.m. Scott said she heard from talk in the neighborhood that Moreno carried a firearm. Another neighbor wrote on Facebook that she and other from the neighbors had raised concerns about Moreno with local law enforcement and the city council. No one could offer any kind of help, Guiete said in a post. We were told to see something and say something, but nothing else gets done until it's too late. Well, there's not much they can really do, to be honest. Neither the police department nor Moreno, Conroe's 5 council members, immediately responded to requests for comment. Police have publicly stated that 2 off-duty officers at the church returned fire, striking the shooter and killed her at about 1:50 p.m. Her son was also struck in the head during the incident and was in critical condition. Oh, that's sad. This garbage mother decided, I'm going to bring my kid here, and then he ends up getting got in the crossfire. Unfortunately, not the fault of the police officers, but, it's unfortunate. And I think I saw something, and the kid's not expected to live, which really sucks. Police Chief Troy Finier said at a news conference Monday that the 7-year-old boy is fighting for his life. Police previously said that the boy was 5 years old. Another person was injured, 57-year-old man was released from hospital, Finner added. He added that one of the off-duty officers is an agent with the Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission, and the other is a Houston police officer. Officials are investigating a wide range of possible motives given the writing on the weapon, but cannot yet conclusively said what led to the shooting. They have not ruled out terrorism or hate crime related motives. Okay. The shooting happened between services as people were arriving for Spanish service. Osteen said about 45,000 people attend service there every week, making it one of the largest mega churches in the country. Osteen said he was in the fog after the violence, and he was keeping the injured in his prayers. We don't understand why all this happened, the pastor told reporters Sunday, but we know God is in control. Okay. And subsequent statements on Facebook, Osteen urged his congregation to leap on their faith to cope with the anguish. Our community is devastated by today's events and grateful for the swift actions of law enforcement, he said. Together we will rise above the tragedy and stand firm in our commitment to love and support one another. Okay, so there we go. No motive is thought of, but probably had something to do with the Jews in Palestine. Just saying. Yeah, it's weird. It's a very weird case. It's very weird. And there seems to be an uptick in trans shooters fairly recently. Mass shooters, I mean. To kind of perfectly outline mentally ill individuals. Now, I'm sure at some point we're going to start hearing that the only reason these people are acting out this way is because they're bullied and aren't accepted. I'm sure that's going to be coming very soon. Tell me I'm lying. So there's another tragic. It appears only 2 people were injured, it seems. So that is fortunate. Unfortunately, one is the perpetrator's son, an innocent little boy who is, I think he's currently fighting for his life, but I do believe it said he may not make it, which is really sad and shows the lack of duty this mother has. Unfortunately, she's dead. so she can't hurt anyone else, including her poor 7-year-old son. All right, so apparently, Houston police focus on important things like which pronouns to use for the mentally ill Texas church shooter. So here we go.
So she has utilized both male and female names, but through all of our investigation to this point, talking with individuals, interviews, documents, Houston Police Department reports, she has been identified this entire time as female, she, her, and so we are identifying her as Genesee Moreno, Hispanic female.
Wait, hold on. First off, I saw like a mugshot thing where she's labeled as non-Hispanic and white. Now they're saying, or probably prior, they were saying what Hispanic. Shocking.
There were 2 weapons. So,
you know, it's really important that, you know, when someone commits a heinous act like this, that we really care about her pronouns, right? It's really fucking important. Like, if we don't care about her pronouns, look, I say, this is just me personally, I don't know how anyone else feels, but I say, once you committed a heinous act like this, fuck your pronouns. Like, yeah, I have stated this before. I don't care what you do. If you're an adult and you want to do this crap, I don't care. Be a girl. If you look like a girl, I'll call you a girl. If you don't look like a girl, I'll call you a guy, because odds are you're not trying that hard. So do better. Try harder. But I honestly could care less how people choose to identify. It does not matter to me in the slightest. But it's really just ridiculous to me that we care so much about an individual pronoun that, you know, has committed a heinous act, that will go out of their way to try, ensure that they feel, even though they're dead. I don't care. I really don't care. Guess what? If you're a shitbag and you use, you know, just because you say you're a dude and you're actually a chick, you're a chick. Fuck off. Go to hell. All right. So, all right. So last but simply not least, because I'm not going to do the other stuff because I'm low on time and I really don't want to talk. You know, I'm not super interested in this. But here's what's hilarious. Trump. So everyone knows, I hope by now, that there's a hearing going on about the misconduct between Fannie Willis and the special prosecutor that are charging Trump with election interference in Georgia. Those don't know, the DA and the special prosecutor are apparently knocking boots, and and, you know, maybe a conflict of interest, and maybe unethical. So Fannie Willis has a hearing about it on Thursday, and Trump says he plans to attend, and that is fucking hilarious. I hope it's televised and you can just see him just sitting right behind Fannie Willis, just staring her down like, That would be hilarious. Man. But that is a Trump we know and love, the massive troll, because that's all that is. That is a massive troll. It's gonna troll it good. Do. All right. That's all I got for you today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I certainly enjoyed talking about it. Made me laugh real good. Let's see. What was I gonna say? Oh, check out me on Rumble, rumble.com/withghost. And check out my, if you want to, of course, my I watched the Tucker Carlson interview of Vladimir Putin. You can check it out if you like. It's, in all honesty, it's not that interesting because I didn't really say much, and I was honestly fairly bored while watching it. So, yeah. So, you know, you don't have to watch it if you don't want to. Like I said, I didn't really say much. I didn't give much commentary. I was bored as fuck watching it. And it is what it is. What can you do? But anyways, just make sure you follow me on rumble.com/withghost. Best way to find out where I am. And if any of my videos get taken down, they will still be up on Rumble. They're not up on. It's not up on YouTube because apparently Tucker Carlson didn't like that, and he copyright struck me or whatever, and it got taken down. And fine with me. I'm not really gonna fight it because I really don't care if you do. Who cares? But yeah. So follow me on X at @officialwghost. Check out Coffee Brand Coffee. My affiliate code and the coupon code and referral link are down below. So check that all out. Hope you have a good day. Peace out and see you later.